Good morning. My name is Anthony Kelly, Councillor Anthony Kelly, and welcome to today's hearing. I'll be chairing with my colleagues, Councillor Jammu and Councillor Sumner. We are today's licensing subcommittee. We're also accompanied by Jack Roberts, clerk to the subcommittee, who will be minuting the meeting, Alison Luff, the legal advisor to the subcommittee, and Sonia Francis, the licensing processing officer, who shall be introducing the report. In accordance with procedure, I will invite the licensing officer to introduce the report and provide any clarification on factual issues, invite the applicant to present the application, answer any questions and call upon any witnesses, invite those who have made representations to make them, answer any questions and call on any witnesses. At the conclusion of the meeting, the licensing subcommittee, accompanied by the legal advisor and the clerk, will retire to consider its decision. Decision will be given at the end of the meeting, where we will reconvene in this room and will be confirmed in writing within 5 working days. If the panel is unable to reach a decision, will be notified of that within 5 working days. So over to Ms. Francis, who will introduce the report. Oh, yeah, and just quickly, just before that, Sonia, if everyone else, Mr. Panchow, if you'd like to introduce yourself and your client, please. Mr. Panchow?
Yes, sorry, Chair. I'm just trying to get myself muted. I'm Mr. Panchal from Personal License Courses UK Limited, as all of you are aware of. You see me regularly. I'm representing Monika, who's with me here with Monika Food and Wine. I'd asked Monika to just show her face to confirm that she's here with us.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
PC Houston.
Good morning, Chair. Yes, I'm PC Vicky Hewitt, I'm a licensing officer for Ealing Borough.
Thank you. And you're unlikely to be seen. You're over the phone, just for everyone's information. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. No problem. Sonia, if you'd like to introduce the report, please. Thank you.
Yes, sure. This is an application that has been made by Mrs. Monika Kenner for a new premises license in relation to Monika Food and Wine, 7 Boston Road, Hanwell, London, W7 3SJ. 2 representations have been received. These are from the Metropolitan Police Service, Ealing Council Licensing Enforcement and Compliance Team. The licensable activities and hours that have been applied for are supply of alcohol off the premises, Monday to Thursday, 8 AM until 2300 hours, Friday to Saturday, 10 AM until 2300 hours, Sunday, 11 o'clock AM until 22:30 hours. The subject premises is currently a convenience store and off license. The premises is located within a special policy area. If there is anything else I can help you with, Chair, factual issues. Thank you.
That's fine. Mr. Panchal is probably going to go next, so he might want to clarify this. You said it's currently an off license, but is it currently an off license? Is it serving licensed goods at the moment, Mr. Panchal?
No, we're not. It's only a convenience store at the moment.
Fine. That's all. I think it's just that general description that people have. So we can park that because so if you'd like to present your application, Mr. Panchal, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. I'm not going to take too long because the application itself is a self-explanatory, but I'm going to quickly run through my client's experience. First of all, I'd like to clarify that the client has got a lease in his own name. So the client has got a lease of the shop now in her own name. The shop has been there since 2016, for the last 6 years, running in the area. So it is not a new shop in the area coming up. Due to past and what we see brought in by the police and Mr. Bob Deer's objections, I'm quickly going to run through the experience of the client. The client is presently working in Sainsbury's 3 days in a week from 11 to 5 o'clock. Previously, from the year 2004, the client was working for Argos. Argos is a part of the Sainsbury's department. And since the Argos in Feltham closed down in 2020, so the client was working from 2004 to 2020. When the Argos in Feltham closed down, under the TUPE, she was transferred to Sainsbury's in Hayes, whereby she started working 3 days a week in Sainsbury's, which she is working at the moment in employment. She's got a son who is 21 years old and a daughter who is also over 18, 26 years old. The premises is going to be run jointly with the daughter, son, and the mother. We have put down the operating schedule. If you go back to in your bundle on page 21 of your bundle, and we have mentioned that there will be how the 4 licensing objectives will be promoted. The client understands that. She gets a regular training at Sainsbury's presently where she's working, and she is totally very confident about how the 4 licensing objectives will be promoted. She will be giving about 4 days of her time at the shop, full 4 days at a time. And even during 11 to 5, she will be taking a few time off and going down to the shop to run the shop as a DPS. She understands the designated premises supervisor's job, which is a day-to-day running of the shop. We have considered the council's licensing policy, and the hours are under the core hours. And we have got the CCTV as you're working. We will be also working under the licensing policies strength of beer for the area. She understands that there is a drinking, street drinkers problems in Hanwell area, and she knows the people in the Hanwell area very, very well. Hence, she will not be selling any strong beers. The content of the beers, ABV, will be 5.5%. For the lagers, ciders, that. She will not be selling single cans of beers. There will be no sales of spirits and miniatures below 5%. All staffs employed will undergo training. She will be employing 1 more staff to help out in the shop, which will be fully trained and have a right to work in the country. If you look at the condition number 16 of your bundle, which Mr. Balram Khanna, who was working previously at the shop, he will not be, and he will be banned from the premises in working. I'd like to make it absolutely clear. One of the points that has come to my attention on this application, Chairman. Why it has come to attention is, before we put this application in, I did ring the objector, Mr. Bob Deer, that we are applying for Mr. Monika Khanna, and we were told that yes, if you ban Mr. Khanna from the offices, please go ahead with the application. Hence, we put that application in. So I'm a little bit surprised about the objections received. We do tend to get in touch with responsible authorities on many, many occasions and work along with them. We look at the objections issued from Vicky Hewson, PC, And I'd like to note that the committee look at what the police's recommendation is on the page 41, which says we welcome the conditions set out in the operating schedule. So we're glad to say that if you look at it, that the police is our operating schedule does welcome the police and does agree that yes, there is application is there, is supporting the application in that way. I don't have anything much to say at this moment, Chairman, but I feel that all matters have taken into considerations. The client understands the 4 licensing objectives, has a vast experience working in Argos from 2004 and continuing in the same brand of same companies, which is part of the Sainsbury's and has been transferred to Sainsbury's and still working there at Sainsbury's for quite a long time. So we feel that the license be granted at this time with the conditions, the proposed conditions. And if there are any other conditions or anything that the committee feels, we are happy to look at that and happy to discuss about it. So Chairman, we feel that the license be granted this time, and we are happy to answer any questions taken forward.
Thank you. Obviously, Ms. Khanna's with you, and
yeah,
we may obviously ask some questions of her. But at the moment, do you have any other witnesses you want to?
At the moment, we don't have any witnesses at the moment.
Sure. Okay. So non-protocol question from whoever wants to go first, really, the police or the licensing authority.
Shall I go first, Bob?
Please do.
Good morning, Mrs. Khanna.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Sorry, so you work at Sainsbury's 3 days a week at the moment?
Yes.
How long, sorry, did you say that you'd worked there?
Is it 11 till 5, 2 years.
And what do you do there?
And before that, I worked for August.
Right. Okay. Sorry, I'm having problems hearing Mrs. Khanna.
Yeah, but you're going to have to come closer to the microphone and perhaps sit close to Panchal. Yeah. If you could find a seat for her, please, Mr. Panchal.
Yep. Let's come here. Thank you. I don't know when did you work in Sainsbury's from the year. So you were in 2004.
2004.
Yeah, maybe we could just sort of flesh out your experience for us, because obviously the part of the panel's role is to try and satisfy that you're somebody that understands the licensing objectives, and obviously it's going to be easier to understand that if we know what it is you've worked in over the last few years, particularly Sainsbury's.
Yes, I know the idea, and I understand the 4 objects as well, like crime and disorder, public safety, and public nourishment, and the children from harms. And
how long have you been working at Sainsbury's? That's what
2 years. 2 years.
Yeah, you carry on, PC Hewison. Sorry there.
2 years, and I'm a customer service, so I deal with the customers. So
you serve the customers?
Yes, I serve the customer and doing the shelving, and But I do the online as well, sometimes helping online deliveries and with the cash. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any experience in operating a licensed premise?
Yes, I have experience.
Okay. What experience do you have in operating a licensed premise?
I have experience because I'm working as well at the shop 3 days. I do all the cash and carries, and I know how to serve the customer, and I know about the 1025. So.
Okay. How many members of staff do you have plan to have working in the day at one time?
2.
So there'll be 2 members of staff working all day at one time?
Yeah.
Okay. So when your 18-year-old daughter is in there, she won't be on her own?
My daughter is 26, and my son is 18.
Oh, your son is 18, apologies. Okay, but they won't be working alone, is that correct?
And no. So I will hire someone as well.
Okay. Can you tell me how you're going to deal with the street drinkers and the street drinking problem?
Oh, I'm not selling them any alcohol, or I know who is the street drinker because I'm working since 2016 here. So I know them who is the street drinker. So I'm not keeping the managers at all in my shops, and I'm not selling the single can. Okay,
and your 2 children that will be working at the shop, are they confident in not selling alcohol to street drinkers?
Sometimes they are helping us, so they know that about the shop and everything. So they know that sometimes they are helping us.
Okay. Can I just talk about the lease agreement? What name is the lease agreement in, please?
It's on my name. It's Monika Khanna.
Right. Okay. And your husband, Mr. Ramkhana, what involvement does he have in the business?
He's just working there, so there's not any other involvement.
Well, he's working in the shop, is he?
Yes, he is working.
Okay, so the license premises that you put the application in for, he's working in that shop.
Yeah, then he's not going to be work there.
Okay, so you just told me he was working. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So he's working in the shop at the moment.
Sorry,
he's working in the shop. So you can confirm that Mr. Ramkhan is working in the shop at the moment, but when it's licensed, he won't be. Is that correct? No. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, is that correct?
Okay. I've got no further questions from myself, Chair.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Officer. Mr. Dare.
Thank you, Chair. Mrs. Khanna, we've met before, haven't we?
Sorry?
We have met before, haven't we?
Yes, we are.
And the license, the previous license, and the lease agreement was in your brother's name, wasn't it?
Only the lease is on my name, and the alcohol license on my brother's name.
Okay, when did your name appear on that lease? In what year? 2016?
Yeah.
So, in theory, even though you weren't working in there very often, your husband always was. You have been in charge of that premises.
Yeah.
Price cutter, it was called, since 2016, because your brothers haven't worked there, have they?
He works oftenly.
Sorry, I didn't hear that last answer. You say he was helping you?
Yes, he's helping me. His work's hoffentlich. Help me out, just. Because it's a family business.
Exactly, because I'm sure you've seen my representation, and on the, where are we? After the 15th of September 2020, your brother rang me, which I put there.
Yes, he did the mistake.
You rang me and your brother. Well, sorry?
It was his business, not mine.
So I received a phone call from your brother who said that he'd sold the business. And when asked to, he stated it was a family thing.
Yes, it wasn't mine on that time.
And can you work the CCTV system?
Yes.
So again, on that day, I appreciate it was in September 2020, you phoned me and a request was made for CCTV footage.
Yes.
And do you remember what you said?
Yeah, because of the ceiling leaking and the CCTVs is not working, I had all the proofs. And I showed you as well, because the ceiling is leaking.
Okay, and one last question. Do you own the freehold, or does your family own the freehold of that building?
No.
That you occupy, or not occupy, you have the first floor flat, don't you, upstairs?
We have a space upstairs. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I've got no more questions, Chair. Thank you.
Don't believe we've got anyone else, any other agencies, so to speak, or authorities, and we don't have any anybody making representation from the general public, either in objection or support. So really questions to councillors. Councillor Sumner, I'll give you the chance to go first because I have to choose someone.
Yeah, sorry to ask this question, but what was Mr. Deere actually inquiring of here? Is he suggesting that somebody is living upstairs or that it is an empty space?
It's empty.
Who lives upstairs?
No, nobody living, just for the stock.
So there's a flat upstairs that's unoccupied.
No. Is it empty?
Is it what?
Yeah,
It's empty.
It's empty.
It's empty.
So,
And nobody lives there, yes?
No.
Okay. And can I just ask, what was the purpose of asking the question about the CCTV? Was it not working? It is working now, but it just wasn't working at the time because of a leak?
Yes.
So everything is working fine now. There's full.
Everything is working fine now.
Okay, thank you for that. That's fine for me at the moment. Thank you.
okay. Thank you, Councillor Sumner. Councillor Jammeh.
Thank you, Chair. Monika Khanna, I just wanted a little bit more clarification from you, please, from what following on from what PC Hunson was saying earlier. I know you work at Sainsbury's, etc., but what do you understand will be the role of someone who has an off license? Can you explain to me what your role will be fully, please?
It should be day-to-day operation of the day business.
I think what Councillor Jammeh is trying to explore is how much you understand about the licensing function of the business. So you know,
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, there's shopkeeping, but there's an element of shopkeeping which is about the licensable activity. So if you could perhaps explain to you what you understand about that, as opposed
I know about that, about the public safety, and last week we have done the fire risk assessment for the shop. We done the fire doors and the sensor light, the signs, and everything should be updated, like cameras, CCTV, tills, and we have a safe as well. So we have a alarm system with the police connected.
Can I perhaps ask a question, Councillor Dear, because this may get to the heart of the licensing part, if that's all right. You can come back. So in the operating schedule, it says no miniatures, and it says no miniatures and no beers above 5.5. Why do you believe that condition's there? Why has that been made a condition?
For the public safety and street drinkers, they want the miniatures and the single cans most of the time. They are not offered the big one. Okay,
fine. That's fine. Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Jamu.
That's okay, Chair. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you, Ms. Canna. That's that you understand why. No. It might be an idea, Mr. Panchab, you can find for next hearings 2 seats, because because it's not great having you standing there.
I'm fine.
It's not particularly fine for us.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it looks a bit awkward, to be honest with you. Yeah. So you've explained the 5.5 and the miniatures, and you understand that street drinking, but what I need to understand is, have you worked at this shop yourself in the last number?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what's your understanding of what's happened in the shop in terms of this premises? What's happened in the past, and how what was done wrong, and what you're going to avoid doing in the future?
Okay, we are not opening before 8 o'clock. That's the main thing, because our lessons start at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to open the shop at 8 o'clock, not before that. That's the main point. And we are hiring more people, not one person. So I'm going to tell my son and my daughter to turn by turn, they are helping me out. And is that possible? So I will hire another staff to helping me out, because I do all the cash and carry. So when I'm not there, so they all help each other.
Okay. So, yeah. And in terms of where you buy your stuff, you know, are you aware of where to buy stuff, where not to accept stuff from?
Yeah.
So tell me where you buy your stuff and where you wouldn't buy your stuff.
Oh, I always buy from Dhameja and Costco.
Okay.
So I'm not going anywhere. So I just from these two, and I order it online, which is best way. So they are like a very heavy stuff, like a water, and this is difficult for me to carry out. So I will order online, and they will,
And cigarettes? And cigarettes?
Cigarette from Costco.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And you
So
won't.
I would have all cigarette interest and tax. So no.
Okay. That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you. I think that's it for the time being. So yeah. Let's see what's next. Yeah. So really, it's Mr. Deere and Miss Harrison to, if you want to make your case, and then we'll followed by Mr. Planchow. Thank you.
I'll go first again, Bob, if that's okay.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so as you're probably aware, the premises is located in a special policy area and is known to frequent street drinkers, particularly around Hanwell Clock Tower, which is a short distance from the premises. There was a GBH between two street drinkers a few weeks ago, and this happened at about approximately 9 a.m. in the morning, so it is very much still a current problem. And this happened near the Hanwell Clock Tower. And also, I know the Safer Neighbourhood are putting together an operation called Operation Bottle Top again to combat the street drinking problem over the next few months, particularly over the warmer months. So it just highlights the problem of the street drinking. As you're probably also aware, the premises had a licence before, but it was revoked in 2020 following a licensing review submitted by Licensing Enforcement Officer Robert Deere. This was after a number of visits where non-duty paid cigarettes and alcohol were found in the shop. Mr. Ram Khanna was working in the shop when the visit took place, and he is the brother-in-law of the previous premises licence holder. Mr. Ram Khanna and the applicant Monika Khanna are husband and wife. We've just heard that the lease agreement is in the applicant's name. But despite condition 16 in the operating schedule, which states Barrow and Khanna shall not enter the property, they shall be banned from the premises, the police are not satisfied that Ram Khanna will not have any involvement in the day-to-day running in the business. Therefore, the police object to the application.
Thank you very much, Officer. Mr. Deere?
Thank you, Chair. These premises are well known to me, having reviewed them twice before. The first time, the committee decided that they would give a second chance and suspended the licence. And basically, and one other thing they moved as well is they removed or changed the condition that said there had to be 3 people in that shop. And now, well, the last thing was it was reduced down to 2. As you've heard, this is a special priority area where the assumption to refuse is rebuttable, but I haven't heard anything that is exceptional or would make me change my mind to ask that this licence is not granted. The premises, when it was reviewed the first time, said that to the committee that the licence would be transferred and a new DPS would be put in place. That never happened. And on Tuesday, the 16th of September 2020, myself and a trade and sands officer visited the area after numerous complaints about street drinkers obtaining alcohol early in the morning. Mr. Khanna, Mr. Ram Khanna, was seen opening the shop. He then sold alcohol at 12 minutes past 6, 24 minutes past 6, 35 minutes past 6, 44 minutes past 6, and 11 minutes past 7 in the morning. The only thing that has been offered here as that the shop will now only open from 8 o'clock. It used to open at 6:30. And the alcohol is actually used to be from 9 a.m. in the morning. They're now asking for 8 a.m. So it's not exceptional. The license was rightly revoked, and then Mrs. Karner and her brother, who was the premises license holder at the time, attended the magistrate's court, and their option was to transfer the license, remove the DPS, which they promised in 2018 and hadn't done. So I haven't really got much faith in what is offered. You've heard that Mrs. Karner works 3 days a week at Sainsbury's, and in her evidence statement, she said that she works customer services online, so it doesn't really have much dealings with alcohol. She's worked for Argos since 2004, and Argos do not sell alcohol and never have. And now she's going to put her 18-year-old son, 26-year-old daughter behind that counter, when the area, as you've heard, is full of street drinkers. As mentioned by the police, the end of March, there was a GBH at 9:52 a.m. where the man nearly lost his life. Luckily, he didn't. Both were drunk. So they've got alcohol from somewhere. I appreciate this premises had no license at the time, and I'm not suggesting that they sold alcohol either to them. These people won't go away, because after the scene was reopened, I counted 10 street drinkers down there that 2 or 3 hours after it happened. So we're not substituting one licensed premises for another. So my request today is that you refuse this application for a new premises license. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dare. Mr. Panchal, obviously, in your summing up, you can respond to any of those things raised by Mr. Dare.
Sorry, do we have a question to Mr. Dare, or no, we just sum up?
I'm quite happy to have a bit of V between the two of you.
There's usually an opportunity for questions for both the responsible authorities, Chair.
I beg your pardon? Yeah, sorry. Okay, so this is, sorry, questions from Mr. Panchal to Mr. Dare, yeah? And to the police, sorry.
Yeah, Chair, my concern at the moment is we looked at the client, to Mr. Dare, that we've looked at you visited when the license was revoked. There were a lot of questions there that the matter was served at 6 o'clock in the morning. So we've looked at that concerns and made sure that the shop now opens at 8 o'clock instead of opening at 6 o'clock. And we made it concerned because we were serving alcohol at 9 o'clock. Instead, we've said that, okay, we'll be open at 8 o'clock because we're going to do newspapers at the same time, open at 8 o'clock and have the alcohol licensable activities to start at the same time. Does that not help in making sure the breaches won't occur?
No, Mr. Panchal, because when I first met Mrs. Karner.
Sorry, Chairman, my answer is, would that not stop the breaches occurring? Yes or no?
Well, I'll answer the question with my answer. It may not be the answer you want, but you've asked me a question, so I will answer that to the best of my knowledge. The premises used to open at 6:30 to sell newspapers, so that's not new. Alcohol, 9 o'clock. You now just want to sell alcohol from 8 o'clock, and it didn't stop then. These premises, and they've been in charge of the family since 2016, as we've heard. The lease has been in Mrs. Karner's name since then, and badly run by the whole family. So no, that would not help.
Before we put the application in, do you agree that we did get in touch with you?
You did get in touch with me, Mr. Pangel, but you.
Thank you very much.
You often do.
Yeah, we do.
With numerous applications.
That's correct. So just for the chairman to make it sure that this application was made after we consulted Mr. Bob Deere, and that hence we put in the condition 16, which was agreed that Mr. Khanna will no longer be permitted on the premises, will have no longer concerns with the premises. Chairman, that's all I need to bring to your awareness.
Sorry, Chair, was that a question? Because
no, I've just said that's all. I haven't got any more questions. That was I'm just saying to the chairman that to be aware that we did get in touch before the application was put in.
There's no contention there. You got in contact with him. You put that condition in, but Mr. Deere's still hearing objection. That's all plain.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to come back to my presentation.
Yeah, fine. I think everyone accepts that.
Yeah. That's also. I haven't got any more questions.
And do you have questions to the police?
No, sir. No, I don't.
So I think now, councillors, do you have any questions to the police or Mr. Deere?
Chairman, I know there's no license, so therefore there is no alcohol on the premises whatsoever. So therefore there's no whatever you call them, things they have to put up. So they're not there, but presumably they're there if the license is granted. So it can be locked up before the premises open. We're talking about the alcohol.
Councillor, the metal shutters, I think you.
Thank you, that's where I am. Thank you, well done. Sorry,
yes.
Sorry, Chairman.
In answer to that, Councillor, there was no metal shutters in 2020, hence why the sale of alcohol was so easy to street drinkers. People just came in, as I said, between 6:12 and 7:11, and including Mr. Garner, put his hand behind the lockable plastic sheeting that was over the fridge.
Okay, thank you. No more questions, Chairman.
I have no questions, Chair.
So just to so I can get some so I'm sure about this point. Is there going to be times should we minded to grant this license and you're then therefore serving it? There are going to be times when you'll be open, but the license, but it won't be licensable hours. So if I take, for example, on Friday and Saturday, you start. So on Sunday, you can serve alcohol from 11 o'clock. What time will you be opening on Sunday? You'll be open at 8 o'clock, I would assume. The Sunday.
Sunday, I gather, Chairman, they are going to be opening late, so that's why hence it's put down at 11 o'clock.
Okay, so what time will you be opening on a Sunday?
11 o'clock.
No shutters.
So you won't. So
we won't be opening early.
Yeah, well, but that's the whole point. The whole point is there'll be, if there's a period of time where you'll be open, but there's no licensable activities. When are those times?
There are no times we are going to be open when there's no licensable activities. For instance, like we said, if you look at page 17 of the supply of alcohol, we've hence put down the hours at 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock, The reason being that the shop will also open at 8 o'clock and close at 11 o'clock.
Yes.
The same way on Sunday, the shop will open at 11 o'clock and close at 22:30.
So Saturday morning, you'll be opening at 10.
Yes, Saturday morning you'll be opening at 10. Correct.
Okay. So,
And even Friday, the shop will open at 10 o'clock.
okay, and Sunday, 11 o'clock.
That's correct.
Okay.
Sorry, Chair, can I just confirm something, please? Because I haven't seen any email saying that the hours have changed. And on the application, page 20 of 52, it says the opening hours will be 8 o'clock in the morning every day of the week.
Yeah, we will be amending that application now and saying that the opening hours will be subject to the licensable activities.
So that'll be you would a condition where you're only open during licensable activities would be okay, yes?
That's correct. That's correct, Chair.
Well, I think we can leave that matter there then.
So, Chairman, sorry to ask this stupid question maybe, but there won't be any newspapers, no cigarettes, no coffee, nothing for sale at all, unless it's an alcoholic matter. Is that right?
What they're saying is they won't open the shop. The shop won't be open, so you won't. You know, if you turn up at 7:45 on a Monday, you won't. The doors will be closed. At 8 o'clock, you'll be able to walk in and partake of. You know, you'll be able to buy license. You know, buy alcohol, cigarettes, newspapers, milk, bread, whatever the offer is.
Yep, correct.
Okay.
No shutters needed then, Chairman, at all.
I guess, yes. Yes.
Chair, it might be advisable to have a condition in any event saying that if the shop should open, because obviously opening hours of a shop aren't in themselves a licensable activity. So you might want a condition that says should the shop open outside licensable hours, then any alcohol will be kept in a lockable behind shutters.
That's correct, Alison. We will follow that. But having said that, we are considering it as a very serious matter of what has happened in the past. So we're going to be opening the shop only during licensable hours. That's to take care of what has happened in the past.
Okay.
There is a DPS or not?
Sorry?
Is there a DPS?
Yes, there will be a DPS, yes.
I didn't misunderstand it. I thought there is a DPS at the moment, yes?
There is no licensable activity at the moment, but once the license is granted, there will be a DPS. Without a DPS, we will not be operating the premises.
Thank you, Mr. Panchal.
Thanks.
Okay. Yes, Councillor Jammu is not indicating. I can't see you, but I guess you'll speak. Yeah, I can see you now. Fine. So, yeah, if you would like to go to summing up now, I believe, Mr. Panchal, and unless Mr. Deer or Officer Houston's got anything further. No, okay, Mr. Panchal.
Sorry, Chair. A quick summing up, just to make sure that you do understand that before we put this application in, we did have a consultation with Mr. Deer, and we did suggest what we were putting the application in. If we were informed at that particular instance that it is not viable, we would have had a second thought of the application to be put in, just for your information, as we do in all the past applications. We have considered, as you have heard now, we have considered in looking at what has happened in the past, and we have made sure that all licensable activities are carried out when the shop is open. and to make sure that the shop does not breach any of the conditions that were issued previously by the previous people. The 4 licensing objectives are thoroughly been looked into in the promotion. Monika understands the strength of the beers required by the street drinkers, hence we are not going to be selling those, and we're going to be following the 5.5% ABV as mentioned in the licensing policy of the London Borough of Ealing. We'll also be making sure that the lagers are not sold in the single cans, spirits and miniatures are taken care of. So, Chairman, we feel that the license be granted. We would like to work along with the responsible authorities. We feel, the client feels that this is a time that relations must be looked into. There is a concern that I've come across lately in the Borough of Ealing. I'm very reluctant to say what I have to say today, but having, as you are aware, I serve a lot of ethnic minority people in the area, and what I've been hearing lately as the corporation, I'm sad to say this, that we do require to get involved into the cooperation of the peoples in the area. And I've been hearing a lot, which I'm not going to be saying anything now. But this is something, I'll be honest to you, this is something.
Mr. Pancho.
Yeah, go on.
Please make your representations. If you want to make separate representations about what you believe ethnic minorities are facing in terms of licensing, you may want to feed that into a different thing, but you've got a client in front of you. Please stick to this application. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. I will be putting in my rep, as you say, regarding that matters. I've been forced to put that, but I will do that. But in the meantime, I'd like to say that my client wants to cooperate with the responsible authorities, work in the area, and make it a success for their family's business. And Chairman, we feel that we've looked into all the concerns, and we feel that the license be granted at this very moment.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Alison, before we retire, and any more, nobody's signaling. Do you think we've covered everything before we retire?
Yes, Chair, I think so.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's 11:27. So I would anticipate for everybody to be back available in the room at about 12:15. That will give us an opportunity to deliberate and give the decision. But we reserve the right to take longer should we need to. But if you stand by for about 12:15, please. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Chair. So we come back at 12:15, do we?
Yeah, that's what I anticipate. Yeah, not before. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.